Guys, what's up? Welcome back here to another edition of Intuitive Angling, and thanks a lot for checking out today's video and making some time to watch it. It's always much appreciated. And guys, today we're going to be talking about my 5 different favorite colors of dye, and I'm going to go over each one of them and sort of let you know the situations and the conditions I use them on my soft plastics. I think it's definitely going to add up to some more fish for you guys if you incorporate some of these dyes into your arsenal there. A couple of different things before we get started, guys. I want to remind you, I just uploaded my second video of the new YouTube channel I've got called Advanced Bass Fishing with Randy Blockett. Just uploaded an advanced jig flipping seminar, jig flipping and pitching seminar. This is the second video we put up on the channel. The first one was on our jerk baits. I'm only putting up 1 video a week on the channel, guys, and they're about an hour long. So I'll include the link in the description of this video if you guys would like to check it out and subscribe to the channel. It'd be much appreciated. So thanks very much. Okay, guys, let's get into this. I'll go over dyes that I like to use, my favorite ones, situational, when I use them. So first of all, let's talk about everybody's favorite, the Chartreuse dye here. This, without a doubt, is the most common, most used dye color out there. And it's one of those things out there that people, when they're talking about using dye on lures, a lot of people, this is the only thing they use. They don't even have any other color dye with them. But like anything else, this is situational for the times that you use it. So talk a little bit about when you want to use Chartreuse dye. Not most, but actually all the time, Chartreuse dye is only to be used on like watermelons or green pumpkins, you know, those type of lighter shades like that, maybe white as well. Because if you try to use a Chartreuse dye on a dark color like a blue or black or something like that, or June bug, it turns it into this baby poop, ugly green color. So first of all, you know, you just use it on your more natural tone colors lures with that. And situations with that, it can vary widely based upon the amount of dye that you put on there. Because say, for example, if you just barely put the tips of a plastic worm or the tips of a crawdad or something, just barely put them in there, you got just like a little puff of Chartreuse, that can be pretty good still in clear water. And then as you put more of the soft plastic into dye, more of the legs of your jig trailer or whatever, those conditions are usually for as the water gets a little bit more dirty or the light conditions get lower. Early in the morning, cloudy days, rainy days, something like that. So when you're using Chartreuse dye, don't just like dip it in the same way every time. Try to put the amount of dye on your lure based upon the conditions that you're fishing. And also I use a Chartreuse marking pen quite a bit, as well as a Chartreuse spray bottle. Now, these things, if you're using Chartreuse spray, you can put not the amount, but you can sort of fade it a little bit. You can make it where it's like a lighter Chartreuse other than just dipping it straight in the dip. And then with the Chartreuse marking pens, you can be really precise. Like you can put just a little tiny bit of Chartreuse on the tails like that. But that's most of the time the conditions for Chartreuse. Now the next one I use, guys, is an orange dye. Now orange dyes, the only time I use them is for my jig trailers. And it's sort of like a fall and spring type of a color that I use. Really the only times that I use orange dye on like my jig trailers, or even maybe on my soft creature baits, like if I'm flipping a Z-hog or a beaver or something like that, I'll put some orange on it, is when the water temperatures are in the 50s. And usually that's March, April in the pre-spawn, and October, November, December in the fall time of the year. But when you have water temperatures in the 50s, now I don't really know what the deal is, I find out that I get a lot of bites on the orange dye with that. And the orange is the same way as the Chartreuse, guys. Let the water clarity dictate how much orange that you put on it. A little bit goes a long way. If you put say for example, if you take one of your jig trailers and you dye all the legs orange in there, it sticks out like a sore thumb in the water. So you really have to, don't get carried away with putting too much orange on it. And another thing, guys, especially when you're using like a Chartreuse on here, one of the best applicators that you can put on it is take a toothbrush. The toothbrush holds the dye really good, and again, you can be precise and give it just a little bit different look. So I always, carry toothbrushes to apply this within there. Okay, the next one is blue, guys. Blue's sort of the same way. It's an accent color for my creature baits and my jig trailers. very much the same way as the the orange. A little bit goes a long way. Same with the blue, guys. You can't take like a black crawdad or a black creature bait and dip it in blue and make it look blue. It doesn't hold the dye. So blue's the same way with chartreuse. You have to use it on the more natural, green pumpkins, watermelons, that type of stuff. And one of my favorite things to do with blue is I'll put it on a green pumpkin, like a jig trailer. And green pumpkin with a little bit of blue on the end of it is a really good flipping color if you got water visibility sort of in that 1 to 2 foot range. And one other thing that you can do with blue and chartreuse both is take a watermelon creature bait or a watermelon jig, and one of the things you can do with it is dye part of it chartreuse, like half of it chartreuse and half of it blue, and then put it, try it like that. That chartreuse and blue combination, guys, for whatever reason, I've caught some good fish on it, and you can mix it up. You can put half the bait blue or 3/4 of the bait blue and just a little bit of chartreuse on it, or vice versa, but it's worked for me as a flipping color pretty good. And the final one, guys, is black. This is probably a color that most people have never used on dye. Guys, black is a really good color to dye when you're wanting to create a two-tone creature bait or a two-tone jig. Now what I do with that is, if I've got a green pumpkin or a watermelon creature bait or jig trailer, I dip about 3/4 of it in black, the main part of it, not the tail, but 3/4 of the bait in black. And then I can come behind it with like a chartreuse or a blue, and I can make a black and blue creature bait or black and blue jig trailer, or I can make a black and chartreuse. So a lot of it is just your experimentation. I mean, it's just getting out there, mixing it and matching it up. One of the things about bass fishing you'll find is bass, we get locked into colors more than the bass do. So just be creative, man. Just experiment with them a little bit. Try some stuff they haven't seen. And I've seen it work more than not. When you try a new color, it'll work. But anyway, dyes are an important part of bass fishing. I'd highly encourage you guys to keep a good supply of them in the boat. I'll put the Baitworks link in the description. They have all the dyes you could use there at Baitworks, and you guys can get you a few bottles and start experimenting. So hope it helps. We'll see you guys later.